Like, according to my show notes. You're like, man, don't you keep up? Don't you know every day what the number is? No, we're on 1,080. Yes, today is 1,080. And you know what? Today is the. No, I'm wrong. I was going to say today's the anniversary of the launch of the TV show because that's what the Instagram told me, or the social media. I don't know, Facebook or something. But that's actually not correct because we produced the show and it aired in July of 2011. We worked on it for about 6 months and then it went up, probably more than 6 months, but it actually aired. Season one aired on satellite television in July of 2011. And this show, we are on year 9. This is our 9th year of Student of the Gun Radio, and in 9 years we've been able to knock out over 1,000 episodes. That is effort, is it not, Zach?
It is quite a bit of effort, yes.
Yeah, it is quite a bit of effort. Your voice sounds fine, so you can talk if you want. All right, on today's show, we've got a Duracoat firearm finish firearm of the week, the Mandalorian pistol. What? Wow. Yes. We got that, and we're going to talk about the Folly of Afghanistan. Yes, indeed. What's going on in the world? And were there any warnings from history that could have taught us or showed us better? Or are we just doomed to keep repeating history over and over and over again? I don't know. You can make that decision for yourself. And we'll do it all after Zach hits that magic button that plays the music.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
All right, man. I tell you what. There's so much going on right now. I have not been deliberately seeking out firearms to test and evaluate and review. I'm not, but they've just been coming. They've just been arriving. I don't know. It's just, I got so many things to review now and to talk about. I don't even know where to start. I guess it's like eating an elephant, right? Just one bite at a time.
Does it feel like 2007 again?
I don't know about that, but
I don't know. When was the highlight of your reviewing stuff for magazines career?
Yeah, I guess it was around then, around the 7, 8, 9 time frame when I was reviewing stuff and I was writing about, I don't know, 50 some reviews, articles and stuff a year. So only 50? Amateur.
Yeah. Hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
That's right. You got to start somewhere.
You're a promising young upstart.
All right. So let's talk about, are we live on the social media and Discord and all that stuff?
Yes, indeed.
We're live on socialist media.
I turned on my gain, so I need to not push my slider up as much. Yes, we are. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And if you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord because we're live
all
there
right.
as well.
Hey, Fascist Book. How you doing there? How you doing, buddies? All right. So it's funny that we have 3 thumbs up and 4 comments. Every comment should be a thumb up, right? It should be a little happy smiley face thumbs up. What I've got in my hand is I've got a gun that I've kind of been sitting on for a while, but I've decided to stop sitting on it, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it. As soon as Zach plays, well, that cool bumper music. Wow, man! I was just watching on the freaking on the Fascist Book, and the live audio in the Fascist Book is like 30 seconds off. So here's what I got for you guys. I have. You're like, man, you just cannot stop talking about those guns. I'm sorry. This. I'm holding it up for the studio audience. You know what you need, Zach?
What does Zach need?
You need me to take you a really good photograph of this and send it to you.
I agree. And by the way, in case anybody has forgotten or never got the memo, the finished fire of the week is mostly a video segment of the show. We do our best to, video centric. We do our best to describe to you what it is, what it looks like, so on and so forth. But if you want the best experience for this segment specifically, check out the video, which is available live on YouTube, Facebook, and Discord when we stream it. Or you can catch it on our website or Full 30 after it comes out, or on the smart TV apps.
That's right. So you can go to studentofthegun.com when the show's up, and you can actually watch the video. So this gun, as you can see, as I hold it up to the camera, if you see the Mandalore, see the Mandalore skull right there? Your ancestors rode the mighty Mandalore. I think you can ride one of these. What were those two-legged fart monsters?
Big fish dinosaurs.
Huh?
I said fish dinosaurs.
I don't think they were called fish dinosaurs, but I took Duracoat and I looked at Boba Fett's uniform, at Boba Fett's costume, and I tried to mirror some of the colors that were found in Boba Fett's costume, like the rusty yellow color and the brick red color and the kind of off green, blue green, light blue green color, and then of course there's the winter mirage flash white gray, and the Mandalore template came from the guys at Freedom Stencils. So on here, this is a Canik SFX. This is the original Canik SFX. This is way before the Mete or the Meat, depending on how you like to pronounce it. You know what METE stands for in English, Zach?
Most effective transportation expertise.
No, METE is pronounced meet, and it is to mete out. And to meet or to mete out, meet is a verb, and it means to dispense judgment or punishment. So there you go. All right, so this one, I've got the light that's on here, that thing up front. A lot of you guys, you old guy or you young guys don't know. These were the original incandescent bulb Glock tactical lights. Yes, this is an original incandescent bulb Glock tactical light. I don't think they make these anymore. I don't think they make incandescent light bulb tac lights anymore. And what I have on top of it is I have a Delta Point. I've got the Leupold Delta Point on top of it. And if you look closely, you can see what I did with this gun is I put all the colors on it, and then I did the Helen back distressed finish on it, so it looks like it's very well used, well worn, like a bounty hunter was out blasting with it. So that's it. That is my homage to a Mandalorian pistol. Like it, don't like it, whatever. That is it. That's it. So I've been sitting on this for a while, and I decided, what the heck, I'll feature it on the Duracoat Finished Firearm of the Week, and then you guys can have it. How's that sound? Does it make you happy? If it doesn't make you happy, I don't know what to say. Then there is no pleasing you. Then there is no pleasing you. Yes, Eric Tenborg, that is a G-Lock light. That is the original Glock tactical light. It used 2 batteries, 2 123 lithiums, and it was a incandescent bulb. Yes, an incandescent bulb. Remember the old days, kids, when you used to have to change out the bulbs in your flashlights? This is when you Gen Z people are like, I don't even know what that is. There's no bulb in a flashlight. It's an LED.
I don't even use a flashlight. I just have my phone.
I didn't even use a flashlight. I don't know. Only grandpas use flashlights, man. Yes, mete, M-E-T-E, is a verb. It means dispense or allot justice, a punishment or a harsh treatment. So there you go. There you go. But that's not mete. I'm not sure the pronunciation of M-E-T-E as mete, not meat. I'm not really sure if that comes from an old language or Turkish, or I don't know. Maybe it means the same thing, but it's just pronounced differently. You linguistic historians, you guys can look that up and you can send me a letter. How's that sound? So, the long story short for Duracoat Finished Firearm of the Week is, if you'd like to do something like that, if you'd like to go to the range and have a pistol that's unique and cool looking, and you're like, wow, man. You know, some people are like, I like that. Some people say, I don't like that. Some people say, I don't care whether you like it or not. It's mine. You can go to studentofthegun.com/Duracoat. The link's in the show notes for you guys. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Make people nervous. Point the gun at the camera. Make people nervous. But go there, join or get enrolled in Duracoat University. You don't have to enroll in Duracoat University to do finishes, but if you've never done it before and you don't want to screw it up, you want to be like me, where I just experimented on half a dozen guns before I finally figured out how to do it right. If you want to be a smart man, I want to be a smart man, Jenny, you can go to Duracoat University and learn how to do it the right way. All right. Duracoat, why, Zach? Why?
Because life is too short for an ugly gun.
That's right. Life is too short to have an ugly gun. Crossbreed Holsters, the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe. And they're currently out of stock on the Bruce Jenner commemoratives, so don't try and order one. There's a callback for you guys. For new kids, you're like, what? Really? What? Super Tuck Deluxe is the OG. It is the original gangster of hybrid holsters. Everything else that you see today is a ripoff of the Super Tuck Deluxe. If you'd like a quality made in America by Americans, made in the USA by Americans holster, go to crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promotional code SOTG. When you do, you're going to save some money. You'll be a happy camper. There you go. Brownells, what's going on with Brownells today? I don't know. What is going on with Brownells today? They probably have stuff in stock that you're going to want. I don't know. If you texted BRN to 556-223, then every time they got new products in or out of stock products like ammunition, that's right. When they have those in stock, they will send you an email or a text. That is, they'll send you a text. You always get emails that says, hey, Paul, go to the website right now because we have ammunition in stock. I said, okay, thank you. I'm going to go right now just for funsies. So they actually have ammunition in stock. There's actually 9mm ammunition in stock right now on their website. Now,
It probably won't be for long.
yeah, is it the price that I would like to pay? No. It's not the price that I would like to pay. But it's there. So if you want it, you want it. If you don't, then you don't. And just move on with it. But it's there. That's kind of the history, or not the history, the current state of the industry right now. People say, well, that's not the price that I want to pay. I get that. I understand that. But it's not 2019 or 2018 anymore, Jack. And if you want it, you need to get it. Well, it's there. So, all right. Check those guys out. Sign up for their newsletter, Brownells. Brownells is a family-owned company. They're good people, just like Duracoat. And just like Crossbreed, they're all family-owned businesses. Started as, small independent businesses, and then they grew, and they hired employees. And they did all kinds of good stuff just for you. Yeah, for you, the American gun owner. All right, Zach, I'm sure that we have many, many new listeners in our audience today. So would you do me a favor and give them something to listen to?
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Yes, indeed. So we started this resource for you guys many, many, many years ago. It's called the Patriot Bookshelf. If you go to patriotbookshelf.com, it takes you to a listing of recommended reading. Books that we have referred to, that we have discussed previously. And I highly suggest that you, take the opportunity to go there. Take the opportunity to go to the Patriot Bookshelf. Is the Patriot Bookshelf updated, Zach? I don't see the PFT mission planner on here. Or the equipment guide, for that matter.
I will work my absolute hardest to make sure it gets updated soon.
Yeah, I want you to go ahead and make a note about that. The mission planner and the equipment guide need to be in there. But one of the things I'm going to reference is it's a little book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And you guys are like, duh, I know about The Art of War by Sun Tzu. You know, I went to my local shop and they have 18 different copies of it. Or I went to Amazon and they had 18 different Art of Wars. I'm going to caution you. The Art of War is not the same with everyone you read. Some of them are written by historical scholars, Chinese history scholars, or linguistics professors, or people who aren't really warriors. Some of them are written or translated by businessmen, and they want to use the art of war as a how to conduct business, strategy and so forth. And that's fine. People can do whatever they want. But if we're being genuine and we're talking about actual physical conflict between men, you need to read one that was written by somebody who actually has a martial background. And the one that we recommend, and the one that is in the Patriot Bookshelf, is The Art of War, translation by Stephen F. Kaufman. And the reason I recommend that one was because Kaufman did the translation of the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, and it's really good. Before I realized that Kaufman had done an Art of War, I read one that was written by a British linguistics professor, and it was pretty dry. It was pretty dry. It was like taking a fistful of granola and shoving it in your mouth with no milk or water or anything. That's that kind of dry. You know what I mean? Why do I bring that up? Well, I'm going to paraphrase, but in The Art of War, one of the things that Sun Tzu warns people about, he warns the reader against the folly of wasting a nation's blood and treasure on prolonged wars. He said that eventually the people of the nation will grow weary and they will no longer care. And so you will lose the people's enthusiasm. They won't care anymore. You won't be able to get them excited about it. You won't be able to get them dedicated. They won't be patriotic about it. It'll just be a thing that's going on. And also, you deplete the nation's treasury. You deplete the nation's treasury with prolonged wars. Now, apparently, our politicians, which unfortunately includes pretty much all of the modern generals, have they either don't know or they don't care about the lessons of history. Apparently, the generals that are in charge have never read Sun Tzu, or if they have, they read the business version or what have you. Ladies and gentlemen, we brought this up before many times. I can't even imagine the number of times I brought this up on the radio about the failed policies of our quote-unquote global war on terror. We tried to fight the global war on terror as a police action, not as a war. Like, no, it was a real war, man, with bombs and rockets and machine guns. It was a real war, man. No, it's not. The United States of America has not been involved in a war in which they won, with one exception, since World War II. Korea was essentially a tie, right? We did an armistice, and we're like, okay, you go back to what you were doing, and we'll go back to what we were doing. Now we're done. We're going to leave. We spent 3 years, thousands and thousands of lives, blood, money, and treasure. And what did we end up with? We ended up with a stalemate. Thank you, China. Thank you, Communist China, for that. So we ended up with a stalemate because we didn't have the guts to do it right? Then we decided, now I'm not saying we were wrong to go into Korea. The communists were, they were trying to take over the nation of Korea. And that's a bad thing because communists are bad. Here, Gen Zs, millennials, communists are bad. Communists are evil. Look at Vietnam. Vietnam, we won the battles. That is something that Nam vets will try and remind you of, is we won the battles. We did. We won the Tet Offensive. Oh, no, the Tet Offensive was devastating to the United States and their allies. Yeah, they started it. They're like, you thought you were going to have a ceasefire for the Tet holiday, but we're going to attack you. And they did. And then we turned around and we kicked the ever-living crap out of them. If you'd care to open up a history book and read it, you would understand that after the Tet Offensive, the Viet Cong, as an organized fighting organization, were devastated, destroyed. We won the Tet Offensive. They started it, we finished it. And why did we lose in Vietnam? Because our politicians and the media stabbed us in the back. Because the politicians tried to run the war from Washington, D.C., and the media is run by a bunch of leftist, pinko, communist puke bags, and they betrayed us. Sound familiar? So here we are. We've got some stories here. And people have said, yeah, well, we were spending too much time in Afghanistan. We should have got out. Yeah, I know that. I know that. We should have gone in there and used everything at our disposal to win the war, to utterly destroy the enemy, the Taliban. Well, for those of you who are in your 20s, who are either in diapers or in elementary school or not even born yet, on September 11th, 2001, the whole reason that we got into the global war on terror was because the Clinton administration, because Bill Clinton was too busy getting blowjobs. Can I say that on public radio? He was too busy getting Hummers in the White House to care about the criminal terrorist regime in Afghanistan that was housing, funding, and training terrorists. Yes, the Al-Qaeda terror group was hanging out in Afghanistan with the complete and total blessing of the Taliban. Osama bin Laden and his boys. You may have heard of them. I know you Gen Z is probably like, that was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. Osama bin Laden, he's been dead for years, man. The whole reason that the global war on terror started was because we looked the other way. We said, well, it's their country. They can do whatever they want. You know, if they want to harbor terrorists and have terrorist training camps, you know, inside of their country, then they're allowed, man. It's their country. They can do whatever they want. Well, except the Taliban actually kicked out the legitimate government of Afghanistan and well, abused the people and so on and so forth. But we knew that. We knew in 2001 that the Taliban in Afghanistan, that they were essentially the instruments of evil on planet Earth. You knew that, right? So instead of saying, all right, we're going to go in there and we're going to destroy you, we're going to bomb you back into the prehistoric era, the Paleolithic era, the Stone Age, man. What we did is we went in and we're, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do, you know, after a couple of years, we modified our, I'm trying to think of the word right now because I'm excited. Our rules of engagement. We modified the ROE. And then we started treating our soldiers, and I know this because I was a contractor. I was a small arms and tactics instructor during GWAT. We started modifying the ROE, and we started treating our soldiers and Marines all like potential criminals. If they went out on a patrol and they pressed the trigger, when they came back, they weren't debriefed first by the intelligence officers. No, they were debriefed first by legal to make sure that they didn't break any rules. And it got to the point where 18 and 19-year-old kids were afraid to pull the trigger on their guns because they knew as soon as they got back to camp that the JAG officer was going to be there to debrief them. And if they did anything wrong, if they didn't do it perfect, they were in trouble. And then we started throwing our soldiers and Marines and sailors. We started during the 8 years of Comrade Barry Soetoro, we started charging them with crimes related to killing the enemy. Well, you're supposed to kill the enemy, but you have to do it nice. You can't just kill the enemy. You can't kill the enemy and be mean about it. If you kill the enemy and you're mean about it, well, then we're going to charge you. This was all happening right under your noses, America. You saw it happening, and you let it happen, and you just looked the other way because you wanted to go to the mall. Story number 1. Dateline. What's the dateline on the first story, Zach? It's from NewYorkTimes.com. Oh.
Dateline 3/26.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
I screwed up. I hate the New York Times. I don't know why that's in there. Can you read the story?
Sure thing. What's it?
All right. Because it wants me to sign up and pay them for a subscription. And
I'm in.
All right, go ahead.
Offer extended. Subscribe for $1 a week. Anyway. Dateline, March 26, 2021. Washington. As President Biden signaled this week that he would let a May 1st deadline pass without withdrawing American troops from Afghanistan, some officials are using an intelligence assessment to argue for prolonging the military mission there. American intelligence agencies have told the Biden administration that if U.S. troops leave before a power-sharing settlement is reached between the Taliban and the Afghan government, the country could fall largely under the control of the Taliban within 2 or 3 years after the withdrawal of international forces. That could potentially open the door for al-Qaeda to rebuild its strength within the country, according to American officials. The classified assessment, first prepared the last year for the Trump administration but not previously disclosed, is the latest in a series of grim predictions of Afghanistan's future that intelligence analysts have delivered throughout the 2-decade-long war. But the intelligence has landed in a changing political environment. While President Donald J. Trump pushed for a withdrawal of all forces even before the terms of peace deal required it, Mr. Biden has been more cautious, saying Thursday that he does not view May 1st as a deadline he must meet, although he also said he, quote, could not picture, unquote, troops being in the country next year. The decision looms as one of the most critical of Mr. Biden's young presidency. He long argued while vice president... He long argued while vice president for a minimal presence in Afghanistan. Oh, I get what he's saying. But has been said to have privately described as haunting the possibility of allowing the country to descend into collapse.
So this first one, basically the takeaway, forget about the New York Times, is like, well, it was Trump too, and Trump didn't do anything, and Trump, and yeah. Oh. So the dateline, the takeaway is, intelligence sources went to Sniffy Joe, and they're like, hey, buddy, we can't just pull out. We have to have a strategy. Right? If we don't do that, the Taliban will take over within 2 to 3 years, which now apparently was very, very, very optimistic. What was the dateline on that story from the New York Times, the New York Slime?
March 26th.
March 26th. So March 26th, intelligence officers, the New York Slime, reported that they were telling Sniffy Joe, hey, man, don't just pull out overnight. All right, next story. This is one from Military Times, which I don't have to sign up for and give them $1 or my credit card or whatever to watch. MilitaryTimes.com from May 20th. So we go from, what was it, March something? March what? I can't see the date.
Wait. It says May 3rd, 2021 right there, but May 20th.
No.
Wait.
The New York Slime story, Zach.
Oh, March 26th.
March 26th. March 26th. All right. So we go from March 26th to May 20th. Taliban may grab U.S. military equipment as Americans troops leave Afghanistan. U.S. military equipment could end up in the hands of Taliban fighters and terrorist groups as American troops withdraw thousands of vehicles, weapons, and other military items from Afghanistan in coming months. Department of Defense officials acknowledged on Thursday. The military planners, they spent 20 years shipping trucks and tanks and Humvees and all kinds of stuff, and everything that goes along with a military mission. Water containers and gym equipment and everything. 20 years. And then supposedly over a period of 2 weeks, they're just supposed to get it all out, right? But military planners said that they are using the time left until the pullout is completed to minimize the threat, yada, yada, yada. What have we been treated to thanks to the power of nonstop social media? Did you guys see the videos of the Taliban in the gyms playing on the equipment? They titled it Gym Rats. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen that, no.
Yeah, the Gym Rats. Ladies and gentlemen, we had stories where troopers said that they were told to grab their personal items, their packs and clothes, and leave everything else behind. Just go. Take off. We're leaving. We're out of here. We have to go now. Yeah, but we got all this stuff. Just doesn't matter. We got to go. So rather than have a controlled exit, they just dropped everything and left. And Americans were shocked. Well, those who paid attention were shocked to find out that they were telling troops, hey, just grab your stuff and go. We got to get out. We're leaving right now. Not in a week, not in a month. We're leaving right now. Grab everything. Leave everything else behind. Well, that was May 20th. We got a story here now for you. Dateline 3 days ago. Thank you for that totally amateurish and terrible Dateline, BBC.com. It's almost as if millennials and children are running these news agencies. Afghanistan war, Dateline 3 days ago. You can do the math yourself. At least 27 children killed in 3 days, says the United Nations. The UN's agency, children's agency, UNICEF, said it was shocked. This is my shock face. At the rapid escalation of grave violence against children by the... Zach, who were they shocked was performing this horrible violence? Who was doing it?
I would assume the Taliban.
The Taliban. So the United Nations, according to their own statement, was shocked that the Taliban would escalate grave violations of against children. Really? Because up to this point, the Taliban have been some really good guys. They never raped and cut off hands and cut off heads and tortured and stoned to death and mutilated anyone they wanted to, right? No, this is brand new. I mean, when did the Taliban start getting brutal and violent? I thought the Taliban respected women's rights. Yeah. Whew. The Taliban have been making major advances across the country as foreign troops withdraw, taking 6 regional capitals since Friday. As I speak the words into this microphone, the Taliban now controls 2/3 of the country of Afghanistan. Oh, get this. Zach, this is going to shock you. The Taliban has rejected international calls for a ceasefire. No way. You mean the terrorist regime? The the terrorist regime, the one that cuts off women's heads for showing their faces in public. That one? They've rejected calls for a ceasefire. More than 1,000 civilians have been killed as a result of the conflict in the last month. In a statement on Monday, UNICEF said the atrocities are being committed against children and are growing higher by the day. I can't imagine how the Taliban is guilty of doing these mean, terrible things to children. What? Come on now. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Like the thing. So that's one story. And we got another one here. Brand new. The Associated Press from today. Get this. The U.S. is sending 3,000 troops for a partial Afghan embassy evacuation. You see, we've still got an embassy in Kabul. Dateline today, right now, actually Friday the 13th. Did you realize that today's Friday the 13th as we're recording this?
I did realize the irony of that.
I know it goes out Monday the 16th, but as we're recording, it's Friday the 13th. Washington. Just weeks before the U.S. is scheduled to end the war in Afghanistan, the Biden administration is rushing 3,000 fresh troops, that's U.S. Marines, it's a MU, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, to the Kabul airport to help with a partial evacuation of the U.S. Embassy. Because here's what they know. The embassy is going to fall. The U.S. Embassy is going to fall. The move highlights a stunning speed at which the Taliban have taken over the country. You see, way back in March, intelligence experts were telling Sniffy Joe, hey, man, if you don't take your time and make sure that we do the power sharing agreement or whatever, this country's going to fall right back into the hands of the Taliban, right where it was in 2001, right back to where it was in 2001. If we don't do this right. And they're like, well, we don't care. Just tell everyone, grab their crap, we're leaving. Okay. The stunning speed at which the Taliban is taking over the country. So they had to They had to revise it from 2 to 3 years to 6 months, including the capture of Thursday of Kandahar, the second largest city and the birthplace of the Taliban movement. State Department said the embassy will continue to function, but Thursday's dramatic decision to bring in thousands of additional U.S. troops is a sign of waning confidence in the Afghan government's ability to hold off the Taliban surge. The announcement came just hours after the Taliban captured the western cities of Herat, as well as Ghazni, a strategic provincial capital south of Kabul. The advances in the partial U.S. embassy evacuation increasingly isolate the nation's capital, home to millions of Afghans, not the dogs, but the people. This is not an abandonment. This is not an evacuation. This is not a wholesale withdrawal, said State Department spokesman Ned Price. This is a reduction of the size of our civilian footprint. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you over the River Kwai. I've got a bridge to sell you. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you kids out there who missed the 1975 last helicopter out of Saigon, you guys didn't get to see that on TV because you either weren't born yet or you were wee little. Well, fear not, man. Fear not. You're going to get to watch the Vietnam War played out again in front of your face, only this time in Afghanistan. You're going to get to see the last helicopter out of Kabul. Yep. But Paul, how and why does this happen? Zach, do you know how and why things like this happen?
I'm not sure, but I bet you'll tell me.
A complete and total failure to understand history. A complete, or whether they understand it, they have chosen deliberately to ignore it. We have chosen deliberately to ignore history, and we've also chosen not to understand our enemy. The enemy that we have in Afghanistan is the axis of evil on planet Earth. And do we need to get into the story about Taliban soldiers going through villages, pulling out girls as young as 12 and taking them as sex slaves for their soldiers? Do we need to talk about that? Should we bring that up, or will that make people feel uncomfortable? We probably shouldn't bring that up. 4 hours ago, the mirror.uk.co.uk, Taliban going door to door, taking girls as young as age 12 to be used as sex slaves for their soldiers. But America is evil. America is bad. Orange man bad. We've been there too long anyway. And you know what's messed up is even after all these stories about the folly, even after all this, we still have American adults they're commenting and saying, well, we've been there too long anyway. It's just time to go. It's time to get out. Okay, I understand that. We should have won. The only war we actually won is the war in Central America against the communist insurgency. But we don't talk about that. The media won't talk about it because the media loves socialists and the media loves communists. Folks, this is what happens when you fail to learn from history and acknowledge history. I mean, holy crap, Zach, how long ago was The Art of War written? Sun Tzu, Art of War timeline. When was it written? So the beginning, in the 5th century, the timeline of Sun Tzu's Art of War, most scholars believe that it was written in the 5th century. So we're in the 21st century now. If you take away 500 from 21. That's 1,600. For those of you that don't know. So let's just be fair and say we only have had 1,000 years to study and understand history. We've only had 1,000 years to figure it out. So it's not really fair, Paul. We've only had 1,000 years. Yeah, I know. It's only been 1,000 years plus since Sun Tzu said, hey, man, do not get involved in protracted wars. They will drain the nation's blood and treasure, and the people will get tired of it, and they won't care anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you, my listening audience, this is why you freaks out there are a cut above. You are the upper percentage of all podcast radio show listeners in the world, because you do study and you understand and you read. And if you haven't read, now this is when I go ahead and put on my professor's hat here. If you have not read Stephen F. Kaufman's Art of War, you're wrong, and you need to fix yourself. If you have not read Stephen F. Kaufman's The Book of Five Rings, you're wrong, and you need to fix yourself. And you say, all right, Paul, in the end, at the end of the day, Afghanistan's on the other side of the world, and I don't care. Just don't care. What happens there doesn't affect me. That's what we thought in the year 1999. When Bill Clinton was more concerned about getting Hummers, getting his knob serviced there in the White House by his interns, while we were ignoring that and pretending it didn't matter, never forget that I can't remember. It was a country came to us and said, hey, this Osama bin Laden guy, he's a bad terrorist guy, and he's here, and if you want him, we can give him to you. And they said, no, we don't want to get involved in that. We don't want to get involved in that. Like, yeah, but he's behind the American embassies in Africa getting bombed. You guys remember this boring historical detail about the hundreds of people who were killed in the bombing attacks against our embassies in Africa, and the fact that Al Qaeda and Osama were behind it? And Clinton just snored. He's like, whatever, I don't care. I don't care. You see, we say we don't care. You say, I don't care what happens in Afghanistan. It's on the other side of the world. They want to be cavemen and barbarians, then let them be cavemen and barbarians. I don't care. And I would be right there with you if it wasn't for the fact that, see, you have this live and let live mentality. You're like, well, they want to live their lives the way they want to live them. I'll live my life the way I want to live it, and we'll just be happy campers. But you see, the other side does not want to allow you to just live your life the way you want to live it. The other side doesn't have that type of thinking. They don't have the live and let live thinking. The other side is, you'll do exactly what we say and live how we want you to live, or we'll kill you. That's how the other side thinks. That is how we ended up in a global war on terror that we failed to win. And I'm not going to take it away from George Bush. Now, George Bush, W. Bush, the second one, he could have prosecuted the war and won it. But if you recall, about 6 months into the global war on terror, the Democrats turned on us like they always do. And Ted Kennedy, hot enough down there for you, you son of a bitch. Ted Kennedy and his cronies in the Democrat Party came up with this Abu Ghraib, the Abu Ghraib story. and they use it to embarrass the Republican president. Because even during a war, the Democrats couldn't put aside their petty partisan politics. And I said that. I said 3 P's in a row there. They couldn't do it. And they got the media and CNN to run nonstop. Americans are evil. American soldiers are bad. Oh, look how bad we are. We're just as bad as the Taliban. We had congressmen and senators, Democrat congressmen and senators, opining that Americans were just as bad as Hussein and his Republican Guard. We're just as bad as them because we played games with these prisoners, and they made a naked pyramid of prisoners in Abu Ghraib, and they took pictures of it. That's the same as cutting off people's hands and heads and stuff, right? Same thing. It's the same thing as going through villages and pulling out 12-year-old girls and making them serve as sex slaves for your soldiers. Same thing. Same thing, right? Same thing as flying planes into buildings and killing thousands of innocent civilians. Same thing. History. History, kids. You don't learn from it, you fail to repeat it. For you, what you can do is you can educate yourself. You can do that. You can prepare yourself. You have the ability. And I wish you would do that. I wish you would do that. Take advantage of the Patriot bookshelf and peruse it once in a while to see what's in there. Zach's going to keep it up to date for you guys. And make sure that your children are educated. The schools aren't going to do it. It's up to you. It's up to you to make sure that your children are educated and understand history and understand what happens when you appease evil. Appeasing evil never, ever, ever defeats it. It only makes it stronger. So there you go. There you go. Welcome to the world 2021. I think that's good, right, Zach?
Yep, we have gotten plenty in the can.
Plenty in the can, huh? Are there any questions that require answers?
Not really at the moment.
Not really at the moment. Okay. All right. Well, I believe that Jared will be back from his road trip on Wednesday. Yep. I believe Jared's been will be back on his road trip on Wednesday. So we'll be back with a Wednesday show for you guys because we love you, care about you, and we want you to be strong, both mentally and physically. I want you to be both of those. And I want to remind you of something. Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, you are a beginner once,
but you're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.